speaking of, education and so on, there was a study, I think it was this year, or maybe it was late last year on Tinder. I want to say it was in the Netherlands, where they basically took male profiles on Tinder, uh, took the same exact man, same profile, and all they did was change his education. So in one profile, the man had a bachelor's degree, and in another profile, the same man, he had a master's degree, and found that the man with the master's degree got about twice as many likes compared to the man with the bachelor's degree. So again, you mentioned earlier to your listeners here, hit the gym, but maybe also, hit the books if you want to get more likes.
Rob. There's only so many hours in the day.
That's right. That's right. Well, prioritize one or the other. But yeah, so this is pretty interesting. Even on Tinder, you see these sorts of these sorts of mating strategies emerge in terms of status, education, and all of these kinds of signals. And, relatedly, given that the economy seems to be tanking right now, this could be bad news for some men and maybe good news for others. But basically, what the research shows, this rise in sexy selfies, right? So it's this research basically it was done on sexy selfies, and what they found was that basically, so they had a question, why are women taking sexy photos of themselves in this way?
How do they define sexy photo?
I'm not exactly sure, but, sort of provocative, maybe, not wearing much, something like that.
Bikini photos or well-posed like photos and stuff like that. Okay.
Right. Sort of beach photos, this kind of thing. And so the researchers asked, well, are women doing this because, are the societies women doing this in more misogynistic, maybe societies that are more likely to objectify women or view them as sex, just because of their sexuality or something like that, or could it be something else? And so they basically collected data from all of these different countries, different regions within countries, and they found that the misogyny of a country had nothing to do with how many sexy selfies women were posting, but what sexy selfies were associated with was economic inequality within developed countries. So, for example, within the U.S., in regions like New York City or Miami, San Francisco, places where there's a bigger gap in income between men, you're going to find a proliferation of more female sexy selfies. And the researchers posit that the reason for this could be that, if there's a small number of men who have a lot of economic resources, women are basically competing and sort of advertising themselves to these men.
They have to up their game.
Basically, they're upping their game in regions where, basically there's a lot of haves or rather few haves and a lot of have-nots. And there's also interesting research from the 2008 economic recession on purchasing habits of women. And what they found was that shortly after the 2008 economic recession, sales of cosmetics increased. And again, the researchers there posited that, in an economic downturn where, women are again sort of upping their game, trying to find the relatively fewer men who are economically successful in those situations. I feel like we're sort of just, talking about women and this, like you mentioned gold diggers earlier. I want to again, sort of write this disclaimer here that, women aren't gold diggers or anything, but that they are enacting a strategy that paid off for their ancestors, right?
Facts
to identify
don't
men.
care about your feelings, Robert, unfortunately, and the guys from Datanomics know that firsthand.